yes, it was a surprise, and I didn't mean to do it that way. I just suddenly found the courage to slap her. I think that the sting and the pain of her slap just really got to me, and I just realized, and with everyone watching, and her on her knees in front of me, I realized I had to do this. To not do this would have been
normal and gentlemanly.
No, it would have been
the right thing to do.
No, it would have
showing
been
restraints.
No, it would have been
legal.
No. It would have been the wrong thing to do. It would have been, everyone would have been disappointed. Like, everyone was there
I would have been disappointed.
For a show. And I gave them a show. And the person being slapped, I gave her exactly what she wanted. I gave everyone in that room exactly what they wanted. And I did it as a surprise. And I didn't mean to do this, but I just wound up for the first one, and I just wasn't okay with myself doing it. And then suddenly something in my brain said, fuck it, and I slapped the shit out of her. Alright? That's exactly what happened. But it was what she wanted, it's what the audience wanted, and if there's one thing that I've learned from stand-up comedy, it's give the audience what they want.
Welcome to the Shane and Gain podcast with Shane Rogers and Noah Gain. This is episode number 1. Let's get this thing started. Thank you for tuning in to the first ever Shane and Gain podcast. I'm Shane Rogers here with Noah Gain. We are two comedians. We're going to be doing this bi-weekly podcast, just talking about things that interest us. And it would be a little weird, Noah, for me to introduce myself to you since we know each other. So instead, I'll introduce Noah to anyone who might be listening. Noah is a South Bay comedian. You've been working in this area for how long now?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Wow. So I'm a little bit more long in the tooth.
You're what? 2 years, 2.5?
Yeah, I'm about like 2 years and a few months in.
You've experienced a lot of life on and off the stage. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm a lot older too. That's the issue. And going bald. I'm starting to go bald, man.
Are you really?
Yeah. I was doing Rogaine, and I'm like, well, I'm still doing Rogaine. Is
it not working?
I don't feel like it's working.
How do you know? Well, I guess you know if it's working whether you have hair or not. But I can't tell. Like, I never would have guessed that you use hair stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be the idea, right? Like, if it was working, then you wouldn't know.
But I can't tell anyway.
I know, because you don't see, like, every day. So check it out. I'm at the point where if my hair is wet and I'm, like, under a fluorescent light, you can see my scalp. You could see my entire
How
scalp.
often does that happen where people are like...
Well, but that's how it starts. I mean, yeah, but exactly. Like, how often do people see how much hair falls out
So
in
when
your
somebody's
sink or something?
in the shower with you and there's fluorescent lights, they're like, hey, you're going bald.
I would be worried about that. I do worry, like, if I'm at a pool, like a public pool, right? And I get out and my hair's wet and the sun's beating down, like, I'd be nervous. People would look at me and go, holy shit, you're going bald. That was the only time my ex-girlfriend ever noticed that I was starting to lose my hair. I got out of the shower and I was like, look at this under the light. And she was like, okay, you're losing your hair. But I have time. I mean, I have like I figure I have like 3 or 4 years before it's noticeable.
But it's only in the back. It's like where the bald spot usually starts.
No. I'm going Captain Picard bald. It's gonna go like straight back.
Are you gonna shave your head or are you gonna just go full bald?
I don't feel like
as
a short guy, so I guess I can Noah's 6 foot to 7 foot. I'm somewhere between 5 and 6 feet on the not close to 6 foot mark. I'm like 5'7". And honestly, I just don't feel like a short, skinnier guy can pull off a bald head. I don't think it's a good look. I think it looks like there's something medically wrong.
So what's the next step? Because it's working still, though. It's not working.
No, it's not working. I'm definitely still losing my hair, I think, at the same pace that I was. But I'm not, I mean, I'm not
So we're going to go
bald.
toupee?
No. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to go gracefully and just let it thin out and look.
Comb over?
Yeah, I'll do the comb over for a while. Do you notice that I like do the kind of spike up thing in the front?
Yeah.
You notice that? I used to sort of part it back a little bit, and now I'm too worried about, I'm just a little too insecure about that, so I kind of pile it.
So how long do you have with the hair?
I don't know.
How long do you think you have? Like, so if you weren't using the hair product, how bald would you be?
No, I don't think the hair product is working at all. I've been using the hair product for probably 6 months, and I would say I'm losing my hair just at the same rate. So it's been long enough where it should have made a difference, and it kind of hasn't. Like, I'm definitely still on the same track. But I think that I started noticing that I was losing my hair. I must have been like 20 when I first noticed that I was like starting to lose it a little bit. And then it's just been really gradual with me.
That's making me paranoid because now I don't know if I'm losing my hair.
I'm telling you, it happens, but it happens really gradually. You'll know if you're one of those guys who's going to lose his hair. Like, just to clarify for anyone who's listening and hasn't seen me, I do have hair. Like, you would not know that I'm going bald at this point, but I know. And I think that people do. The guy knows early because like we're all paranoid. So if you don't see any difference or anything, you'll know.
Are you having those moments where you look at the bottom of your shower and the bottom of the sink and there's hair?
Yeah. No, I'm
really?
having those. Yeah. My sink for sure. Like especially using this product because you put it on your scalp, so you kind of run your hands through your scalp, and then I'll notice that there's like hair coming off on my hand, not like chemo style.
It's
like,
hair and confidence just in your slipping through your fingers.
It is. I mean, it's making me. It's freaking me out, especially I think with being on stage a lot. Does make that exacerbates it because if I had a wife and a kid and a dog and I had a job where I didn't have to be on stage in front of people and no one's judging you, then fucking who cares? Go bald.
You'd probably be 250 pounds too.
I totally like as soon as I get married, dude, this 6-pack is gone. I'm gonna fucking as soon as I lock some girl down, I'm the total bait and switch. As soon as I lock some girl down, it's just gonna be nothing but big backs.
Gotcha. You thought I was handsome and it fit.
I had some line about that how you can tell how long people have been married by comparing their waistlines in their wedding photos to their current waistlines. It's like every 5 pounds is like a tree ring. It's just another year of fucking Hamburger Helper and Chinese takeout. Because people do, they just let themselves go. Who gives a fuck anymore?
No, it's true. But so I just don't understand how. I know we were talking a lot about your hair, but it looks good. Like I can't even imagine. Like I've seen it like from the top. So how is it in light? Is it because your hair is thin?
Yeah, it's thinning. It's becoming thinner. It's receded a little bit.
Would you rather have like the peppered look, like the George Clooney peppered hair?
I'd rather just have George Clooney's hair. I don't care if it's peppered or not. I just want the hair. I just want to keep it. But that's what I was saying is that I think it's making me more uncomfortable because I'm on the stage under lights, and that's the only reason I would try something like Rogaine or start freaking out about it.
So you're gonna try out something else instead, or
there's not really anything else. I mean, there's Propecia.
Bosley.
But no, Bosley I think that's like a piece. I think that's like a hairpiece.
No. It takes hair from the back and it puts it on your head or wherever it takes it from.
Okay, here's the thing about transplants.
There's not enough places where there's hair that you can take your hair from and put on your head.
Here's how paranoid I am is that I've looked into this because here's the thing about transplants, and then we'll move on from my hair. But here's the thing about transplants is that they take it from the back and they put it in the front, right? But let's say that you're going Captain Picard bald like I am, so it's marching straight back. It's receding, it's running from your eyebrows, right? Then when they put it in the front, that part starts growing, but then the middle is still going bald. It's still moving back. So you end up with, I've seen guys at this where I work, I run a gym and health club and spa, and there's a couple guys who've had it done, and it looks great for a while, but they have to get more treatments regularly because they start getting bands of baldness in the middle where they haven't gotten.
And that's where the comb over comes from.
That's that's what they kind of use it for, but they have to comb it back. They have to like slick it back because it's going backwards. So you have thick hair in the front, then you have like a band that's thinning, and then you have the hair that they're taking it from to put it in the front. And it's this weird recycling thing where you have to keep getting it. And it's like $10,000 each treatment.
$10,000?
Yeah, for the hair transplant.
Hair is not worth it.
No, I know.
Just try and rock the bald look.
I can't. It's not going to work for me.
Well, it sounds better than having a tuft of hair in the front.
No, I know. I'm not going to. Well, I don't have $10,000 anyway, so I'm not going to do it. But
it's amazing how much you know about, like, you learn about a problem once you have it. You're like the WebMD of baldness.
As soon as, if you start going bald, you will know everything.
I
You'll be
hope
an
not,
expert.
'cause-
You'll be on Google every day.
Well, they say it's what? It skips a generation, right?
Yeah.
So luckily, my grandfather had a full head of hair.
And it's supposed to be on, I think, your mother's side.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So your grandfather, but what about your dad?
Plenty of hair.
Yeah, well then you're fine. You have a lot of.
Your grandfather, though?
I don't know. Like by the time I remember him, he was to that age where like all guys are just kind of like no one has like a.
His hair was wispy.
Yeah, no one has like a thick, full head of hair when they're in their 80s, you know, and it's kind of like who cares? I would have to see pictures of him in his 40s or something to figure it out because I think that's when it's gonna hit me pretty bad. In my 40s.
Time's ticking.
I know. I had a whole bit about that. I had a whole bit about how
Better
like,
get married
once
quick.
like I need to lock a girl down, and that's part of the reason why, because I feel like at some point I'm gonna be not marriage material anymore once I'm bald.
I don't think you're marriage material right now.
I'm at least. How about fucking material? I'm at least like women will occasionally, for some reason, have sex with me, but I think that's gonna dry up
Purely by accident, I'm assuming.
Usually it's just alcohol related. Usually neither of us remembers it.
Well, speaking of dating, I was just a couple days ago, somebody told me about a new dating app. Have you heard it's called Bumble?
No.
So Bumble is what you do. It's like Tinder. I guess it's one of the guys who made Tinder. And what you do is you put in, I think, a brief info maybe about yourself. I don't even know if there's an info. But you put pictures of yourself like on Tinder. And then it puts your college and your occupation. And that's all the information. And the women, you know, it's the same thing. You have to agree to like them and they like you. But the woman has to start the conversation first. And if she doesn't, then it's unmatched after, I think, like 2 or 3 days.
Are there photos?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't know if they're photos of them, of women.
Oh, so it's just guys.
Oh,
putting their
it has
photos
to.
in
It has to be. It has to be.
Or
because
maybe you
end
can
up
only
talking.
see their photos if they contact you.
That might be it.
That kind of
that makes me so uncomfortable because I did not go to a great college and I do not have a good job. That's like the one dating site I do not want to join.
It sounds kind of like a sugar daddy dating site or something. Like,
but it's young guys. Like the person who was showing it to me showed me, and it's young dudes, like, you know, San Francisco tech guys. So, but
that's probably what it is. It's probably for women to just find San Francisco tech guys.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if stand-up comedian is going to go over very well on that.
You know, it hasn't so far.
Yeah.
It hasn't so far. They're like, oh, when you're in show business, you'll be getting every woman. I'm still waiting on one.
You know what's so funny?
Still waiting on one.
I was doing the like OkCupid. I was on OkCupid, and I had some pictures of me doing stand-up, and in the Bay Area, like I took them down because it just everything dried up. I wasn't getting any responses as soon as I put those up, because I think in the Bay Area it's considered like weird. It's kind of like. It's douchey,
like, women are like, you know, the most attractive quality in a guy is humor. It's like wrong. It's attractiveness.
Yeah,
that's, like I've never I just want a guy who's funny. Well, then why are all the funny guys single?
Well, they want.
Sorry, that sounded really bitter.
But it's true because the baseline is attractiveness for everyone. It's like we all want a girl or a guy who's sweet and friendly and outgoing and funny.
Well, you might want a guy who's sweet and friendly and outgoing.
Assuming they're attractive, right? Like that's the baseline, and then
I only go for personality.
Yeah.
If I find anybody even mildly attractive, no, won't even take a flyer. Won't even take a chance. You hear that, pretty women?
Stay away.
Not interested.
Well, what was funny though was then I went down to LA, and it has like the OkCupid will kind of show like who's nearby, and so people can kind of tell who's in their vicinity, sort of like Tinder or whatever. And all of a sudden, because I still had those pictures up, is when I still had those pictures of me doing stand up, and it just blew up. And it might have just been because I was like in a new area, and so those people hadn't seen me before or something. But I think like in LA, that's totally normal for some guy to have pictures of himself doing stand up. That's not weird or like pretentious or
because it's norm. It's the norm down there. It's show business.
Yeah, and so it was, but it was funny. Like it was not, did not go over well.
Well, I haven't I've never had some like if I say like oh you do stand up, and I'll be like yeah, they're like that's cool. And that's the end of the conversation. Like,
they ask you to tell a joke then.
Oh, that's the worst. Anybody telling a joke. Anybody, like, tell me a joke.
Didn't you say that you used one of my jokes on your dates?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. And I used one of your jokes as a zebra joke.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how it goes.
Because it's like one of the only jokes I have that had a punchline.
It's a short joke. It's a short joke.
It was a short joke, and it had kind of a rim shot.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, the best was actually you did that joke on stage, too.
Yeah, because it was just one of those nights where the audience was just not into it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll try it because you were right there, and I did it. And I couldn't remember the punchline or how it like was worded.
Yeah, no.
So it got like a laugh because people kind of knew what I was going for.
Yeah, you massacred it. That was terrible. It's not a great joke to begin with, but it's
cute.
It's cute.
It's a cute joke.
But no, I thought it was pretty hilarious that you did it while staring at me. On stage,
as I do all my jokes.
I think I was hosting that night, and I think I'd said something mean about you. So,
well, yeah. Tell them how my intro was. How you introed me.
I think I called you an adorable douchebag.
Yeah, lovable.
A lovable douchebag.
Lovable.
Both those things are true.
It's better than kid comedian though.
Kid comedian. So that's how young Noah Gain looks.
I am not.
You're
the
like
kid comedian.
conventionally attractive in the way that like
A child is.
Yeah, but like the way that a child, where like they're gonna be attractive.
Oh gosh.
Like you're totally gonna be super attractive. Probably.
I'm gonna skip that stage. I'm gonna go from infant to old person. They'll be like, "What happened? Where was that middle stage?"
There was a picture online of you recently that everyone just kept saying because you looked 12. It was with you were at a show.
Oh, I was at the Improv.
At the Improv, and you look. Oh, speaking of the Improv, was that at the Ari Spears show?
Yeah. So I hosted a weekend for Ari Spears. I did 5 shows, and it was awesome. Ari Spears from Mad TV fame.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
and he's been on what, Def Jam?
Def Jam, Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam. And it was really cool. He was a nice guy, and most of the nights were sold out, like 400 people. So at the San Jose Improv, bottom floor and entire top floor.
Right on. And how'd it go? I mean, did you...
Good. Every night got better because it's one of those things like hosting a show for comedy is a lot different than just doing stand-up comedy because a lot of the responsibility falls on you where even if you don't do well, you have to make sure the crowd is into it because a bad host can ruin a show entirely.
I agree. I mean, it's funny though. I'm not a huge fan of hosting. I do it, but because I think it's a necessary thing, especially at our level, being kind of amateur comics who are trying to break through to sort of the next level. That's kind of the next level is hosting, because hosting is where you cut your teeth, where you network a lot, where you first typically get paid for doing comedy.
Well, you're going to be hosting at Rooster T Feathers in January.
I'm hosting the first weekend in January at Rooster T Feathers.
And for who is it again?
Carmen Lynch.
Carmen Lynch.
She was on the first season of Last Comic Standing. I think she was the top 20, and then she's been on all the late night talk shows. She has a web series, and she's been in a bunch of movies and stuff.
Somebody did their homework.
I did, because I'm gonna have to know her credits to do it. What was your intro for Ari Spears?
He didn't want an intro, so I go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Ari Spears."
Didn't you say you almost forgot his name?
Yeah, I almost forgot his name because I have another friend who has a similar name. Because when you're hosting, you're there from the time. So I only get 10 minutes in the beginning. Then the feature gets 20 minutes. Then he did about an hour and 20. So 2 hours later, I only go on stage 2 other times, and I almost called him like Ari Hayes.
Dope.
Which would not have been close, and I would not have ever been invited back to the Improv.
That would have been a George Clooney. What did he say at the Oscars? Adele Dazeem.
I don't know. I don't know anything about George Clooney except "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" and the Fantastic
No, it wasn't
Mr.
George
Fox.
Clooney. Fuck, it was John Travolta. John Travolta was introducing. You didn't hear about this? John Travolta was introducing Idina Menzel, who had won for.
I have no idea who Idina Menzel is.
Idina Menzel sang the song in Frozen, "Let It Go." That's like this huge song, right? And so she won, and he was introducing her anyway, and he just blanked. And it was funny because I could see, and I felt bad for him because even though it was it's unforgivable in a way. Like, this is the Oscars, and it's on the fucking teleprompter. But he like clearly kind of had just a moment of panic.
He had a senior moment,
or like a hosting moment. One of those things that we do when like you almost had with.
But
Ari
I did
Spears.
not. Thank goodness.
You didn't fuck it up. I, on the other hand, have fucked it up before. I have fucked intros up, but he did. He said he looked at it and instead of Idina Menzel, he was like, "And welcome Adele Dazeem." And just like walked off really quick.
But that might be he didn't know how to pronounce her name.
No,
but forgetting her name completely.
It wasn't even close. He just screwed it up.
Ugh.
But no, I did that, dude. I did that at Roosters another time when I was. For me, the really hard ones are when you're hosting either open mics or I was hosting a new talent showcase at Roosters, and that's a comedy club in the South Bay in Sunnyvale. And they have every Wednesday they have a new talent showcase. It's a bunch of new comedians, and there's like 20 people. There's like 20 comedians. And so you're going up and you're saying, give it up for the last guy, and you remember his name, and then you have to say, and this next person. And sometimes you say something witty in between. If you think of something, you're going to try to keep the audience going, especially if the last person just bombed really hard, because then you want to kind of get the audience back into it. And I totally biffed it. I went up and said, I'd forget. The woman had a man's name, and there was a guy after her, so I called her that guy's name, and then she was an old lady, and it's a long story, but it was.
You messed up the name.
I messed up the name so badly with an 80 or 70-year-old woman, who walked on stage then because she was trying to listen through her hearing aid, and she didn't know if I'd called her up yet. It was a fiasco, and not in a funny way. It should have been funny that I was flubbing, but it just wasn't.
But it was for your audition, right? To be able to host there. Or that was your warm up, or
well, so I auditioned. My audition was a set, and the set went really well. So then she told me I actually was already booked to host a weekend at that point. I wasn't booked with a specific weekend, but she had already hired me to host weekends. And I thought after that performance that I was done, like that she was going to rescind it. And I actually offered to host another new talent showcase and not do the weekend, just because I felt like I had done that badly. And she was just like, okay. And so I came in, and I think she was like, cool, just whatever. So then I came in and did another one, and I did really well on that one.
just free slave labor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what she thought. She's like, oh, you want to do this for free again? All right, come back. Like, idiot.
So I understand you have a video that you've been chomping to show.
Yeah. So, okay, one of the things I want to do on this podcast regularly is torture Noah Gain with videos. First off, you don't like pornography. It makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, the sexual stuff isn't really my forte.
Sex is not your forte? Are you just asexual?
Sexual stuff.
Just sexual stuff.
Like pornography or any of that stuff. So
Noah is a clean comedian.
that's right, and a clean human being for the most part.
But not a clean human being.
Mostly.
Not remotely.
I brush my teeth twice a day.
A hygienic human being. So I have this video. So I think what I want to do regularly is just kind of show videos that that people wouldn't want to see anyway, and then we can describe it to them. So this is a visual medium, but we can translate it into an auditory medium, and then they don't have to watch this, but they get the benefit of the ridiculousness of this video. Don't get too excited.
I am not excited at all. This is the opposite.
This video is called
Surrealist
porn. And it started... All right, there are a bunch of the same man...
So it's a bunch of white silhouettes wearing fedoras and they're naked.
And masturbating a limp penis.
What is this? What even is this?
It's
this is
surrealist
nothing.
Porn.
For who?
I have no idea.
So it's a woman and she's wearing what looks like an astronaut mask, like one of those driving visors that you see people with.
I believe that's a man.
This is really scary.
So she's wearing a driving visor. He is now walking up the stairs.
Oh, that's a guy?
That's definitely a dude. And wearing boots. Nothing but boots and some type of weird face mask. And a veil, a long black veil, all the way down to his feet. Walking upstairs. Now we have some couples action. There's a man with a penis, but he has wings attached to his penis. There are wings on either side.
No.
What's happening now, Noah?
I don't know. I'm not looking at
Noah's eyes are closed, for the record.
This is horrible. How is this not more explicit? This is way worse.
This is not more explicit. There's no penetration. We've only seen one penis and it was limp. This woman has artillery on her face, covering her mouth. Now there are black silhouettes. I think that's to contrast from the beginning. More mouth artillery, guys standing on each other's feet.
This is way worse. At least the other one was an advertisement.
This is very strange.
How long is this?
I think it's only like a minute.
Ugh, jeez. Did you pay for this?
No.
I don't know.
There's a woman wearing a witch hat and standing on pegs up on a wall. Oh, wait. These are those maggots? Those are definitely maggots. There's a woman with 3 breasts on her head. There's a bowl full of maggots.
This is horrible. I can't even watch it. I physically cannot watch it. How do you find this stuff?
She's not eating the maggot, but she's pretending to eat the maggot. That was it.
Berlin.
Of course. Germany.
Oh, this is miserable.
We should video by Chris Phillips and Imre Saglem, in case anyone.
Yeah, arrest them.
Gosh,
that was horrible.
It really wasn't horrible. It just wasn't erotic. It's art, no.
It's one of those things where why does it exist? That's not. I don't.
There's someone that's super excited about that. It was like the number one search because I did a Google search for surreal porn. And that's the first thing that came up. So it's popular. I bet it's been viewed millions and millions of times.
That was horrible. That was awful. I'm a man of the people. I'm a good-hearted American with good-hearted American values. Mm-hmm. I'm a family guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was just awful. If I never have to watch anything like that again, I'll be, ugh.
All right, let's go ahead and pause for station identification. We'll let Noah gather himself. When we come back, we'll have in the studio/bedroom Cassidy Rinmon. He's an aspiring comedian and notorious woman slapper. We'll get the story on that in just a minute. Hold off. And why did she slap you? Why did she start it?
I honestly don't even know. I wasn't that drunk. I didn't even drink that. I didn't black out or anything that night. I think I was joking around, oh, haha, slap me. Because,
like you do.
Well, yeah, how most people do at a party with somebody they just met.
In conversation. I don't know how. But, I think we were just joking around, having a little argument. And I was like, oh, no, yeah, you can slap me, and I think I basically gave her permission to slap me because I was thinking, oh, it's a light slap, because I've slapped plenty of friends before. A few days ago, I slapped Sam Weber in the face, but it was light and it was fun.
I want to slap Sam Weber. I love Sam Weber, but I would like to slap him in the face.
And by the way, Shane just took another cherry.
I did.
I'm surprised I haven't slapped either of you guys in the face.
We don't need to change that. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're good with that.
I think we'll live.
That's not like a bucket list item for you.
So you tell this woman to slap you in the face.
She took you up on it. She slapped you.
She slapped the shit out of me.
She really did.
She slapped me like I belonged to her. She slapped me like I was like she was the dom and I was the submissive.
I like how that's how he describes like I belong to her. Like when he has somebody that belongs to him, that's how he shows affection, with a big slap in the face.
He slaps his bitches.
Hey, we don't need to get into my FetLife profile, okay?
So she slapped you, and
it was way too hard. She took it way over the line, and it was not okay at all. And I was super pissed.
You were mad.
And she said, "Okay, fine, you can slap me." And by the way, it wasn't okay, fine. It was like, no, now you get to slap me. She was super into it. And
she was into it, or she was you're privileged enough to get to slap me.
No,
you should be happy about it.
She really wanted to get slapped by me.
She's like a masochist.
Yeah. No, she's obviously.
That's what Ted Bundy said about his victims.
Okay, if you were there, you would know. And luckily, Shane was there.
I was there.
Shane Diamond Rogers.
Shane Diamond Rogers was there.
Diamond Rogers.
I was neither slapped nor did I slap.
But she said, "Okay, you're gonna slap me now, and it's gonna make things even." And I said, "Okay, fine." Begrudgingly, I said that. And what she did is immediately she went to her knees.
She did.
And put her hands behind her back in the most submissive pose I've ever seen within the context of a party.
It was really uncomfortably, awkwardly strange that she looked like she was going to orally pleasure him.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
it was confusing.
She had her hand behind her back and kept saying, "Hit me." It was very uncomfortable for everyone involved at that point.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I didn't want to slap her. I really didn't, and I pleaded to her to get up from her knees and stand up.
You wanted to slap.
So in the story of you slapping a girl across the face, you're the victim. You're the good guy.
Exactly. I'm the good guy here.
Until this point, he was the good guy because he's the only one that had been slapped. But it quickly took a turn.
Right, and she slapped me so hard that I needed to, do something about it. By the way, I'm gonna eat a cherry.
So Cassidy is on
was
to.
threatened.
Let's see. He's gonna be on about 10 cherries.
No, he was on 10
At
cherries before.
least a dozen.
Yeah, more than that.
All right.
Possibly
He's
a baker's
dropping
dozen.
cherries. Cassie's wasted at this point, and I blame you.
Wasted from cherries, by the way, which is something I've never been able to say before.
It's because it's the first vegetable you've
Here we
ever
go.
eaten in your
So
life.
I want to. But I'm going to take over at some point because you were the perpetrator after this, and so I don't think that you're a valid source.
All right, but okay, so I tried to get her up from her knees.
Right.
I tried to, slap her, like an equal.
Like a man.
So what you're saying is you're an advocate for equality, gender equality.
Absolutely, I'm a feminist. If there's one thing to take away from this story is that I am a feminist. Okay,
I think that's the
I
definition
believe
of
in
feminism,
equal
is
rights
being
to
willing
men and
slap
women.
a woman.
I was standing when she slapped the shit out of me. She should be standing when I slap her like a gentleman.
Well,
I want to see Cassidy take off his glove and just.
Cassidy's comments do not reflect the views of the Shit and Gaming podcast.
So she would not stand up. She refused to stand up. She remained on her knees with her hands behind her back in the most submissive pose that I've ever been confronted with, at least without a sexual context. That was weird. So
No, okay. So now here's where I'm going to take over.
Shane Diamond Rogers is going to take over.
Shane Diamond Rogers.
Because
Shane
this is what
Diamond
happened.
Rogers.
You got a friend in the diamond
perspective
business.
of the rest of the party. This is what happened. Is that those of us who were anticipating the slap at this point, we were very excited. Everyone in the party was very excited to see what Cassidy was going to do. And so we all had our phones out. We were recording it. Cassidy hauled back, like he wound up like he was going to take just a good whack at her. And then just at the last second, he pulls away and just said, I can't do it.
I couldn't.
He said, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it. That's what he said. So then we all put our phones away, except for Soren. Soren kept his phone out. The man must have known you better than us. And I wish you would just why didn't you just tip me a wink or something so that I would have known that you were not intending to not do it whatsoever, because all of a sudden then Cassidy unleashed the Kraken on this girl. It was like he just fucking, it was louder than the original slap, and it harder than the original slap, and her head torqued to the right, and it was like her jaw, I think, came unhinged for a moment. It was sort of like it was like one of those slow motion things where spittle flew across the room, and
He made her into a human crash test dummy, is what you're saying.
He did. It was brutal.
That is not true.
It was brutal. I've never seen anything like it, Cassidy. It was vicious. And then and everyone immediately, there was just this big cry that went out. It was just like, oh my god.
It was oh, the humanity.
It was shock and awe.
And yet she had a smile on her face.
She did. Well, then she kissed you. Then she made out with you after that.
Not immediately.
No,
to be fair, not in front of everyone did she make out with me, but
no, because she didn't want to cause a scene.
She wouldn't want to make a spectacle of herself.
She immediately had a smile on her face after I had slapped her. Yes, it was a surprise, and I didn't mean to do it that way. I just suddenly found the courage to slap her. I think the sting and the pain of her slap just really got to me, and I just realized, and with everyone watching and her on her knees in front of me, I realized I had to do this. To not do this would have been
normal and gentlemanly.
No, it would have been
the right thing to do.
No, it would have
showing
been
restraint.
No, it would have been
legal.
No. It would have been the wrong thing to do. It would have been everyone would have been disappointed. Like everyone was there
I would have been disappointed
for a show, and I gave them a show, and the person being slapped, I gave her exactly what she wanted. I gave everyone in that room exactly what they wanted, and I did it as a surprise. And I didn't mean to do this, but I wound up for the first one, and I wasn't okay with myself doing it, and then suddenly something in my brain said fuck it, and I slapped the shit out of her. All right, that's exactly what happened. Okay,
That is exactly what happened.
I'm not proud of it.
You
but
seem proud of it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
He's standing up, holding his arms over his head,
wanted
doing a
it.
victory lap.
This wasn't like the end of the Breakfast Club, and I wasn't fucking Judd.
I imagine that you did that. The
Fucking
next day.
holding my fist up like Judd Nelson. Thank you. I almost said Hirsch. Very different actor. It was unfortunate, but it was what she wanted. It's what the audience wanted. And if there's one thing that I've learned from stand-up comedy, it's give the audience what they want.
Well, we actually have somebody who finds the story very interesting. We have a caller on the line. Cassidy, why don't you say hello to the caller?
Hello, caller?
You have to say it louder.
Hello, caller?
A little louder, because it's on speaker. You have to be louder.
Okay, hello, caller. Like louder.
Just kidding. This isn't a radio show.
What the fuck? By the way, if you ever borrow money from me, Noah, you never need to have sex with me.
Glad he made that clear.
You can just buy me drinks.
Or a burrito.
Or a burrito. Like, preferably from Vallarta.
I hope it's not the storm of the century when I borrow money from you.
By the way, if you buy me a Taco Bell burrito, that does not count. And sex is still on the table. Can we end this conversation?
I think we're pretty close.
You want to wrap it up?
I think we're done.
All right. Hey, well, thanks
I
for
don't
coming by,
have anything else to
Cassidy. That was
say.
a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Thank you, guys. You guys are lovely people.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you, Noah. This was a good first podcast. We have learned many things this evening. Some of them I didn't need to know.
Hide your wives, hide your daughters.
The storm of the century.
Storm of the century leads to a lot of sex.
That was.
You heard it here first.
All right. Thanks again, you guys. Have a good night.
I'm sorry.